If you come into the U.S. illegally and get caught, this is how you might leave. On a deportation flight operated by the U.S. Customs and Immigration Enforcement, or ICE. The agency is part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security.
We have about 48 flights a week from various parts of the United States. They are not U.S. citizens. They never came through a port of entry and checked in with us. Or they were on a visa, and that visa expired and they didn't leave.
Security fasten, seat baggage tray tape on our upper and lock position. For your attention, our flight time is 3 hours 33 minutes.
These flights are part of a flow of nearly 400,000 people who are sent back to their home countries each year. It's estimated that over 10 million people are in the U.S. illegally, a number that has dropped in recent years. The reasons for immigrating vary. The vast majority leave their homes in search of better economic opportunity. Yet sometimes it's about relationship problems, or trouble with the law, or a combination of reasons, like for this passenger, Danielle, who had a job in Mexico.
Yo trabajaba en una fábrica y no me pagaban muy bien, entonces un amigo me comentó que aquí en Estados Unidos estaban pagando mucho mejor y yo tengo un hijo que está enfermo de autismo, entonces son muchos gastos que yo hacía y no me alcanzaba mi sueldo.
Estranged from his wife, Danielle spent the past few years in the U.S., where he started a new family. Now Mexico doesn't feel like home.
No sé dónde voy a dormir, si voy a dormir en un puente o voy a dormir en la terminal de autobuses.
For Mexicans like Danielle, the flight to Texas is followed by a bus ride to a border crossing.
Y me siento mal. Me siento mal, tengo ganas de llorar porque extraño a mi hija. Y no sé qué hacer.
I'm fourth generation here in the U.S. citizen. At one point, my ancestors were in the same boat as these guys that were taken to the port of entry. You know, but it wasn't quite as critical as it is today with the terrorism and whatnot. But if you're going to try to stop...
Adiós, América. Que no se te olvide, yo te llamo.
Their journey ends with a walk across the Rio Grande and into Mexico.
For many of them, it's a disappointment. Their dream of America has just ended for them.
Deportation flights also travel to other countries in Latin America. This flight is carrying Guatemalans back to their country. 2 years ago, this kind of flight carried Miguel home. His family crossed into the U.S. illegally when he was small, just 4 years old.
Nobody asked me when I was small, you want to go to the United States? You know, I was right over here. My mom did what she had to do. You know, we just wanted to have a better life. That's the only thing we wanted to do.
After 15 years growing up in America, Miguel was stopped on a routine traffic stop. He sped away and tried to evade the police, but was caught. They discovered his illegal status.
It was too hard what they did, you know, separating me from my family. I would have wanted to be, if it was possible, in jail and still be able to see my family. Because money, I could make it anywhere else. I know I could have a good life anywhere else, but I can't have my family right now.
For Miguel, Guatemala is now the foreign country.
But when we were getting down on Guatemala and really close up, I could see the cars and the buses and everything different, and I knew that I was coming to a worse place than where I was.
¿Taxi para la terminal?
No.
Deportation can have a silver lining, reunions with family not seen for years. For others, deportation means not only losing their livelihood, but losing touch with families started in their new home. Julio recalls his deportation flight 4 years ago, after living nearly 2 decades in the United States. He left behind a wife and son.
I don't know about them, anything, I don't know how they do it, if they're eating or... His mom, she doesn't really speak English, so I had to take him to the school, to the dentist, the doctors, all the appointments he got. It's sad. I feel sad.
Longing for his family, fearing the violence in Guatemala, and having no luck finding a job, Julio tried to return to the U.S.
I tried, but I just got to up there to the Mexican border and came back here to Guatemala because I was scared, I get caught again.
Well, I just wish it were possible for these folks to have a good quality of life at home, and I think we're all working for that in the world, to end the disparities so that people would not have to travel such a long way and live this kind of half-life.
The hazards of returning to America and potentially getting caught are a risk some deportees are still willing to take, so the cycle begins again. One of the men I interviewed for this story has already crossed back into the U.S. just 3 months after his deportation. In Guatemala, I'm John Lowenstein reporting for MSNBC.com.